Hello and welcome back to Planet Nibiru. Today we're going to be talking about what I think is the most explosive and game-changing theories regarding Planet X, or Nibiru, or Wormwood, whatever you like to call it. I mentioned this theory in a video I did a couple days ago, briefly, but today we're going to go into it in a little bit more detail. There's a lot here, so I'm going to try and get through it as quickly as possible, and let's jump right in. So the theory is that Jupiter is planet X. Now, I know that runs against many of the popular theories on planet X, but let's take a look at why I believe this is a highly possible solution or explanation for Planet X or Nibiru. So the first and one of the most credible reasons I believe that this is possible is because the ancient Phoenicians and the ancient Sumerians both referred to Jupiter as Nibiru in their writings. Now this is huge because the ancient Phoenicians and Sumerians were both highly advanced cultures who had advanced knowledge of the solar system that they couldn't have possibly seen with the naked eye. They also both had highly advanced mathematical systems, farming systems, food production, the living in what we would call cities. They had irrigation, things like that. So these were highly advanced cultures for their time, but they were also highly advanced in many other ways that we still can't explain today. I'm not going to go into the whole ancient aliens thing, but we have the ruins at Machu Picchu, the ancient Egyptian pyramids, a lot of these things that we can't explain. These Sumerians had the similar things as well. So they had the very, very, very similar things like the living in cities and irrigation, things like that, math and advanced knowledge that is inexplicable, as well as advanced building techniques and things like that. So the Phoenicians and Sumerians are highly credible by anybody's standards, and they refer to Jupiter as Nibiru, so obviously that is has some merit. Now, we know that Jupiter is a gas giant, and gas giants are planets who are comprised mostly of very dense gases, and basically, gas giant is a failed star. It's a giant planet that could have been a star, but it just did not ever ignite and become a star. We know that most solar systems in the universe and in our galaxy are binary solar systems, meaning that they have two stars that orbit each other. Now, if we know our solar system is a single star solar system, but could Jupiter be the binary star in the solar system? Makes sense when you look at it from the perspective that most solar systems are binary star systems. And if we could look deeper into other galaxies surrounding us and even deeper out in the universe, would we find that the single star system galaxies also have these gas giants, which are basically failed stars in them, making all solar systems a binary solar system, yet they just have, every once in a while you find one that has a failed star in it, so that it's not actually a binary star system. That's a possibility. Now, we also know that if we had two full burning stars in our solar system, it would be much warmer, making the likeliness for water to exist there less. The hotter it is, the less likely you're going to find water. And without water, there can be no life. So if we did have two full stars, we might not be here. Now, with one star going, our solar system is just right, kind of that Goldilocks solar system. When they search for life on other planets or life out there in the universe, they're looking for a planet that is in the Goldilocks zone, meaning a planet that is just the right distance from its star to be not too hot but not too cold, and have the ability to have water on it. Now, according to NASA, Jupiter is so massive that they believe that it helped shape our solar system along with the sun, meaning the gravity of Jupiter helped pull things into the orbits that they're currently in. Jupiter has a massive amount of gravitational pull, not nearly as much as the sun does, but enough to offset the sun's gravity or gravitational pull, enough to keep things kind of in the area that they're in. So Jupiter is probably responsible for the ancient planet referred to as Tiamat. Now, if you're not familiar with Tiamat, there in ancient writings there was a planet called Tiamat that sat on the other side of Mars, between Mars and Jupiter, where the asteroid belt is. That planet is no longer there, or we just don't, maybe it floated off into the sunset somewhere. But more than likely what happened is there was a planet sitting between Mars and Jupiter, and it was destroyed. It was smashed, and the remnants became the asteroid belt. What could have smashed this planet into a bunch of little rocks that are floating out there between Mars and Jupiter? Well, Jupiter would be a likely culprit. Planet X, on its way in or out of our inner solar system, could have been a likely cause for it. Here's some facts about Jupiter that you may not know. You would have to put 12 Earths side by side to be as wide as Jupiter. Jupiter is a massive, massive, massive planet. That's just the width of the planet. To create a planet the same size and mass as Jupiter, you would need 1,321 Earths. So, just to give you an idea of how big Jupiter is versus the Sun, if you put 12 Earths side by side, that would equal the width of Jupiter. For the Sun, you would need 109 Earths side by side to equal the width of the Sun. Jupiter is so massive that it is 2.5 times the mass of all the other planets in the solar system combined. Now think about that. Everything on the outside of the asteroid belt is a massive planet, much, much, much larger than our own planet. And if you took all of the other 8 planets, Mercury, Venus, Earth, Mars, Saturn, Uranus, Neptune, and Pluto, or I guess we don't call Pluto a planet anymore, but you can add that in because it is in our solar system. If you combined all of those planets, you'd still need to do it again, and then another half a time to equal the mass of Jupiter. That's how big this planet is. It is huge. Jupiter has 67 moons that we know of. Think about that for a minute. 67 moons. Jupiter's largest moon is bigger than the planet Venus. Venus is only slightly smaller than the planet Earth. So you can get an idea of just how big Jupiter's largest moon is. The average distance from Jupiter to the Sun is about 483 million miles, or 5.2 astronomical units. Now, an astronomical unit is 93 million miles, and an astronomical unit is the distance from Earth to the Sun. At its closest approach to the Sun, perihelion, it is about 437 million miles from the Sun, which means that it swings in and out about 50 million miles, 48 million, somewhere in there. Sometimes it swings into the orbit of the asteroid belt. Now, the asteroid belt does not make a complete circle around the solar system or around its orbit. It goes over halfway. It's probably somewhere around 2/3 the distance of its complete orbit, so it's stretched out pretty good. So Jupiter, sometimes when it's dipping into the asteroid belt's zone, will not hit anything. And it's 67 little moons as well. But many times when it dips in, it hits asteroids. You have these moons, they're smashing into asteroids, that's sending them scattering in all directions. You have this giant planet that has a gravitational force around it, and it is either repelling these objects out away from it, or it's pulling them into it. But the ones that are repelled towards the inner solar system, they can go anywhere. They can hit Mars, they could hit Earth, they could hit Venus, they could hit Mercury, they could just go right into the sun and burn up, or they may just shoot out the other side and shoot off into space and never to be seen again. So they're just completely gone from our solar system altogether. So that could create massive chaos in the inner solar system, and that, I believe, is a possible explanation for the destruction that has been attributed to Planet X in the past. Looking at our moon, it is pockmarked with evidence of asteroid strikes. Our planet, we get asteroid strikes all the time. We've seen them here lately where there's a lot of them streaking across the sky. And those aren't just little shooting stars that, could be, a rock the size of, maybe my fist, or they're about the size of a basketball. It comes in, burns up in the atmosphere, gives us a nice little light show across the sky. Okay, nice. I'm talking about real asteroids, like the one that hit maybe like Tunguska back in 1908. And then, of course, we all remember the event that happened over Russia recently, because there was so much video of it coming in and exploding in the atmosphere above Russia. And there was destruction for pretty much, it was about a 1,500-mile radius of Chelyabinsk, and it just basically damaged a lot of buildings, blew windows out. There was, God, I want to say 700 or 800 people actually injured that went to the hospital because of this event. So you've got 700 or 800 injuries on the ground from an asteroid that never even touched the ground. This thing just exploded miles and miles above our planet, and the shock wave from it exploding at that height just had a massive damaging effect on the ground. I mean, this thing blew doors off of homes and buildings, blew these doors in, blew windows out. Just thousands and thousands and thousands of windows were blown out because of this asteroid exploding in the sky above Russia. And that was very, very recently, and we all remember that. So imagine what would happen if Jupiter did come smashing into the asteroid belt, 67 moons. So now you can see why this might be a closely guarded secret, as well as a highly possible and plausible explanation for Planet X, or Nibiru. A day on Jupiter, oddly, is only 10 hours long. So that means Jupiter is spinning at an immense rate of speed. A year on Jupiter is 12 Earth years long. So, as you can imagine, its orbit is slower, and obviously, because it's 5 times the distance of Earth from the Sun, its orbit is much larger. So you would expect it to be at least about 5 years long, but it's actually traveling a little slower. So it's a year on Jupiter. One complete orbit of the Sun is 12 Earth years. However, a one complete spin from Jupiter is about 10 hours long. Now, let's go back to where we said we would have to put 12 Earths side by side to create the same width as Jupiter. Something that wide, having a day that only lasts 10 hours is incredible. It means that Jupiter is spinning very, 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 very fast. I mean, just crazy fast. So that's to me, it's kind of one of those ironic things that a day is only 10 hours long, but a year is 12 of our years long. It's just pretty interesting how that is juxtaposed against each other. But it's also, I didn't know until I was looking this information up to do this video that Jupiter was spinning that fast. That's pretty incredible to me. All planets have a magnetic field around them, and Jupiter's largest moon is so large that it actually has, and it's the only moon in our solar system that has a magnetic field around it. So now you can again see what's really going on with this planet. If it's coming in spinning that fast with that level of magnetic force around it, that's going to repel and push away any objects in its path. And not only Jupiter, but its largest moon, Ganymede, is also has this magnetosphere as well, which is going to either repel or pull in anything around it. So both Jupiter and Ganymede are very much likely to push these rocks away from them, as likely as they are to pull the rocks into them, to crash into them. So you can see again how this would create this shooting gallery in the inner solar system if it dipped into the asteroid belt at the right place. Again, 67 moons, all of them swirling around Jupiter and just smashing into things. So why on earth would they let that secret get out? They would rather have the information out there that Planet X is this thing that only comes around and once every 3,600 years. So that is why this information is shocking to me, and I would think shocking to some of you as well. When we look at the description of Planet X and we look at the descriptions of let's take a look at pictures that were taken from one of these satellites. I forget the name of the satellite. I'll get the name of the satellite in here. But this satellite just took a picture of Jupiter and its major moons, and it looks strangely like the illustrations that we've seen of Planet X. So now that we know that there is no reason that NASA or the government would refer to Jupiter as Planet X, or as Nibiru, as Marduk, or Wormwood, or Destroyer, or whatever we want to, or whatever we're comfortable calling Planet X or Nibiru. They would never refer to it as that. They would never let us know that This giant planet that's only 2 planets away from us, or is the second planet from us, going out of the solar system, has the potential pretty much once every 12 years or so, on its perihelion, on its closest approach, to swing into the asteroid belt and pretty much create a shooting gallery of the inner solar system. Why would they tell us that? This mysterious Planet X, or Nibiru, is Jupiter. Better to have us looking outside our solar system. Look all around the galaxy for this mysterious Planet X, rather than looking at the monster who is pretty much right next door to us. For now, this is just a theory. However, if predictions are accurate, and they do seem to be so with all that has been going on in the past 15, 16 years, we will probably get an answer to this question at some point in our lifetimes. The bad part is we certainly won't like the consequences or the cost of that answer. This is Planet Nibiru, signing off for now. Stay tuned.